Hey everybody, this is your friend Richard, and this is our latest comic book finds volume. And I actually got these issues at the flea market. I wanted to go ahead and show these off. There's 14 issues here, and there's not really anything big. These actually fill in a few holes I had. I'm trying to hunt down issues now to fill in runs, and one of the ones I picked up first, and this cover, if you have the Lego uh, Marvel Superheroes 2, this cover is shown because Kang is involved in that game. Well, this cover is shown. It's Avengers number 49 by Kurt Busiek. This is long after George Perez had left the title, I believe. This is during the Kang Dynasty arc, the big arc that he done. That was his final wrap up, and this is pretty cool. Kang is taking over the Earth, and I think it ran from like 42 to 55 or 56. The whole arc was really a masterful arc, and it really was like Busiek's swan song on the title. I always wanted this cover because I liked it, and I think I need like 4 or 5 issues to complete this whole arc. Eddie finally completed it, and I've been putting it off for so long. I was like, well, I'll get it eventually. I'll do it. So I'm going to try to get that done this year. Another series of titles, and it's really weird that I would actually pick up another Kurt Busiek run of books, is his Superman run. Infinite Crisis had ended, so they did the 1 year later run, and this is part 3 of Up and Away. It's Superman 651, and they returned Superman to his original numbering, which I always am a fan of. You can actually hype the creators in the new direction like you used to, instead of like, well, let's relaunch it number 1, let's relaunch it number 1. So I like this, and this was Superman 651, as you can tell. And the art looks really good, but this was Kurt Busiek, Jeff Johns, and Pete Woods on it. This is pretty cool. The art in these and the covers look really good. I mean, I like these covers. This is Superman 656 with Busiek and Pacheco. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Pacheco. Ah, crap. I screw up on names. The hell with it. Super Ha. Not anymore. I like that. And the final one I got, because he didn't have no other Superman issues that I needed, was Superman 662. And this was by, right when he's looking at the moon. I thought this was a cool cover where Superman is sitting on a small planet, and he's like holding up the Earth with his fingers, just admiring it. I thought that was kind of cool. I'd like to eventually get that run of that, because there was some good issues that Alex Ross did the art on, and I've got the whole run of that. Now let's go back to the 80s with DC, and the guy had some classic Blue Beetle issues, and I was looking for one issue in particular, but he didn't have it. I got Blue Beetle number 6, as you can tell. I don't know if this is the first appearance of any characters or not from the post-crisis. I have no clue. I just picked it up because I thought, well, go ahead and pick it up. I got Blue Beetle number 10, which I picked up because it's got Kronos in it. I like Kronos. He's a weird villain, got the whole clock deal, but why not? And I did like this one. The back thing talks about Bigfoot. I thought that was kind of cool. Old Bigfoot. So I picked up this one because it was Marvel Zombies, and I had to pick it up because I like zombie stuff, and I gave it a shot, and I like flipping through the pages, and I saw something about it's got Luke Cage as a zombie in it, and the interaction is pretty funny in it, from what I glanced. So I went ahead and picked it up. Now here's a nice one, and I read this one, and I always heard this was a really good story, and it's Spectre number 22, The Spear of Destiny. And this one features Superman and the Spear of Destiny against the Spectre and a creature called the Water Witch, or some creature. Anyhow, the gist of it is Superman gets given the Spear of Destiny in this issue, and he has to go confront the Spectre, who's running wild in Tokyo. Pretty much the Spectre has to make amends for what he had caused earlier. I don't have the issues of that, but Superman gets possessed by the spear. The spear starts to take over Superman's thought process, and the Spectre shows him a haunting vision of what will happen if he loses control. And at the end, Superman realizes he's lost complete control of everything, of all his morals, of what he believed in, and he tells Batman to go ahead and use the kryptonite bullet and put him down. Well, that Batman ends up being a Spectre who tells Superman, you learned the right choice, you made the right choice, you realized. And he hands the Spectre the spear, and the Spectre gets pretty much throws it into space with inside a rock, you know. It's kind of cool. It's a nice little spot. We get a brief Superman versus Spectre battle, and he realizes magic. You know, Superman's always had a weakness to magic, and this illustrates how magic had taken over his mind with the spear. So it's kind of cool. Now, this one was a relaunch. This was the third volume of Iron Man, and if you remember, Heroes Return had came back, and I had the first issue of this, but I don't have the Sunbeam cover. Well, the Sunbeam cover basically shows Iron Man right here, and I would like to get the Thor and Captain America Sunbeam covers, maybe I think Fantastic Four. So this was kind of cool to get. I thought, you know, hey, it's for $1, pick it up, put it in the bag. It didn't come in this bag. I put it in this bag because I thought it was kind of cool. Now, before Heroes Return, the Avengers and all those titles were pretty much limping along at the end. They had pretty much fallen very badly, and I'm going to go ahead and show 2 issues off of why. Now, this was Avengers 393, which I needed to fill in the run of Avengers. I'm pretty much close to getting all the issues in the 300s and 200s. I think I just need maybe 1 or 2 more issues, and I'll have it like all the way up to the end of the first volume. And Avengers number 395, which is a double, a gatefold cover. You can see the back. And this actually is called The Death of an Avenger. This actually features them battling Iron Man, who had turned against the team during the time, the crossing. And this entire situation happened because Iron Man had pretty much was working for Kang all along. That's what was the revelation. And the working for Kang had affected his mind and forced him to have a drinking habit. It had, forced him into having all that pressure on him. So, I like the reveal of it because he was missing time and you're like wondering what's going on. And it had already leaked out to Wizard before this happened that Iron Man was going to go Hal Jordan direction, where he had lost it. And the whole idea seemed to be like they had ripped it totally from Green Lantern at the time with Kyle Rayner. And I talked, on a message board years later, Ron Mars was on there. And I can always remember this. I said, Mr. Mars, how does it, did you really think that Teen Tony Stark was the whole ripping off your Kyle Rayner run at DC? And I think from what Mars replied, and it's a shame the board is wiped, he replied back that actually Marvel based Teen Tony, they wanted to base the character around what worked with Spider-Man and Peter Parker. And it was just the most odd thing possible, because whereas Kyle Rayner was a success, and yes, people, he was a success. He lasted over a decade. He ran that Green Lantern title, and probably would have lasted longer if Ben Rabb hadn't wrote the title. But where he was a success, we got that Peter Parker moment. And I think Mars even said in A Wizard that he based his character around Peter Parker, having to learn as he went. And it was just odd. Marvel was had the character of Spider-Man. It didn't work because the right image didn't fit that. Yet here was DC using that, and they actually had a success. And Teen Tony pretty much faded away. And the annual actually resolved that. Now, moving on from Teen Tony, we go to the Spectre again. This one was from 1989. This was his final issue, and the title really became big under John Strander. Hell, I'm bad with names. Anyhow, the title would become a bigger hit in the 90s under him. I think it ran 62 issues. But here, this one ended after 31. And really, the Spectre really hasn't had a big hit run since the 90s. Now, this was the first appearance Eddie told me. And I didn't pick it up for a first appearance. I have a lot of the Batman and Detective Comics annuals. I just picked it up to fill in the run of annuals. This was Detective Comics annuals number 6 during the Bloodlines. Earth Plague, or whatever the hell you want to call it, Bloodline Saga, where aliens were eating spinal fluid from characters and turning them into meta-humans. It was pretty funny. Anyhow, I didn't get it for that. I got, a lot of the characters pretty much were shit. Other than Hitman. I believe Hitman was basically it. Maybe Loose Cannon showed up soon. He's actually back again. There was only maybe 1 or 2 characters, but Hitman was the most popular. I have no clue who this is. He probably didn't last that long, because, the mask and the costume itself looks like something from Image. So, I just picked it up to fill in the run of Detective Comics annuals. And the final thing I want to show is the first appearance of Teen Tony, which was Avengers Time Slide, which shocks me. I don't have this. And the art in this is bad. Very bad. The art looks like something from, I have no clue what they was trying to do. Maybe they was trying to capture Joe Medora style over at X-Men. I think that was the whole idea. I think the whole process of this was like, you know what's really selling now for us? Yeah, here it is. You know what's really selling now for us? X-Men, Uncanny X-Men is selling big. Joe Medora is doing great art on it. Let's copy his style and put it in Avengers. And it just, where that art was really good and actually had a unique flow to it. This just looks off. It just doesn't have that same vibe. It's like, it just doesn't read right. But anyway, this introduces Teen Tony for the first time. He comes in and would star in the title as Iron Man for like 6 or 7 issues. They didn't really, you could tell he was going to set up long-term plots with him, going back to college, but it just fell apart. It didn't work. But yeah, you can see what Marvel was trying. They was trying to reset their characters in new ways, and yeah, it was just bad. Not really that good, but yeah, here you go. That's all my issues, 14 issues, and I want to thank you for watching.